I rise today in support of this bipartisan, pro-job, pro-environment, pro-health legislation. After 30 years of debate, of charges and countercharges, we can finally get this done. Just as an example of the disparity and misrepresentation here, we talked about fluorescent on mercury that was discussed earlier. Fluorescent light bulbs in our homes contain mercury in a higher concentration than coal ash, but yet our fluorescent light bulbs are disposed of in a way that we're going to take care of now under this bill. In fact, there are two parts to this bill. The first part removes the stigma of the EPA classifying fly ash as a hazardous material. And several studies by the EPA have concluded time and time again that the chemical characteristics within coal ash are non-hazardous. We've already heard the advantages of the recycling, but I just want to remind the gentleman from California that during the subcommittee markup, he supported the Baldwin Amendment that prohibited the EPA from regulating coal ash as a hazardous material. Yet he continues to refer to coal ash as toxic. This is simply unacceptable. One cannot have his cake and eat it too. The second part of the bill, which deals with disposal, was worked on with Democrats, state agencies, and a cross-section of stakeholders during subcommittee and before this bill came to the House floor. Ultimately, should this legislation become law and new scientifically based factors arise, this legislation will allow for the flexibility of the states and the EPA to work together to adjust the coal ash program accordingly. If a state has no program, fly ash impoundments will not be permitted by the EPA until they do. If a state opts not to have a fly ash program, the EPA will have primacy. If the government should lower the drinking water standard at any time because of changes in chemical characteristics, such as those found in coal ash, then the states will have to comply to those new standards. But should a state, such as proposed in California, decide to lower their standards below the federal level, then they have the option to do that under the 10th Amendment. H.R. 2273 simply allows for a flexible system and working relationship with the state and federal governments to carry out a long overdue coal ash program at the state level with stringent requirements for liners, groundwater monitoring, financial assurance, dam safety and integrity, and most of all, protection for the health and environment. All of this will be achieved with the assistance, approval, and oversight by the EPA. I ask all of my colleagues to support this bipartisan, pro-job legislation. And with that, I yield back my time.
The gentleman from California.